Another thing that's really cool is you can collaborate with other DAOs, and other DAOs say, hey, why don't you try our governance model? Check out our documentation. It's all open source, right? And that's amazing. There's a really awesome collaborative energy that exists in Web3 that I didn't find as much in sort of the Web2 space.
Hi everyone, welcome yet to another exciting episode of NEWFORUM, and we are always happy to bring you awesome creators, visionaries, and investors on our podcast. NEWFORUM is powered by New Foundation, and with our aim to spark informative and educative conversation around the topics of NFTs, DAOs, DeFi, and the metaverse. And on today's episode, we're super happy to have with us Jeremy Grinberg, who is a founding team member of the Colors DAO. Colors is a global community of creatives supporting each other across disciplines, building of color studios, and is a global music creation and discovery platform. And I'm super happy to chat with Jeremy about Colors, the overall community building, and incorporating Web3 tools into the community. Hey, Jeremy, we're happy to have you on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. How are you doing today?
Yeah, great. It's a beautiful day over here. And I'm wondering, so Colors has been around for a while and has really made such a big impact on music and culture. And I'm wondering, where was the point when you guys thought about Web3, or where you were like, okay, like things are changing and we're actually moving towards this digital space?
Yeah, we wanted to figure out how to get our broader audience and community more involved with things at Colors, to have a more active relationship with Colors and the artists that are on the platform. And so we developed a online Discord community that initially didn't utilize any Web3 tech or tools. But as time went on, we sort of realized, oh, Web3 actually makes so much sense, because now fans of Colors or artists of Colors can be a part of this network, and we can capture that value using Web3 tooling.
He told me Nike, just do it. Hands on my breast and my body like he knew it. Je me reconnais plus quand je suis devant ma. My Scorpio moon made me hit you to meet up late night light. Scorpio moon told me to text you, had your granny watch your gist. Down, I must be stressed. Je prends un beurre, j'arrive sur les Pyrénées.
Also, as we know, Instagram, Twitter, all these things are centralized entities, and at any moment they could just basically be rugged. And to develop this on-chain community that's going to live on forever, hopefully, that's such an exciting thing, and something I think is really important, so that we can sort of, it doesn't really matter what platform we build on. It's all of our fans and audience are on the blockchain.
I think that makes really sense, and I feel like that's really something to strive for, because you build such a foundation and strong community for Colors that it really making sure that it's ever growing, and just you keep them alive and you foster that community kind of. And what kind of governance model does Colors follow at the moment?
We're still iterating on the governance structures. We haven't had too many snapshot proposals and votes, but we're starting to get our processes in order and lay out our governance. We actually have a town hall coming up on September 6th, where we'll be laying out in depth how the governance works as of right now, how community members can propose changes to the governance model. I think every community is going to have a different governance structure that works for them. Right now, we have a founding pass, which essentially gives you one pass, one vote. And so when you vote on things, that's really your voting power. And everyone on the core team has one pass as well. It's not like, we have more voting power than everyone else in the community. And that was really intentional, because we wanted to bring everyone onto the same playing field, same level. We didn't want to have tiered membership that, you had like gold, silver, like, it didn't feel like that was going to be something that was sustainable. Every time you put something out, you'd have to cater to each one of those tiers. And that's not really the point of the community. The point is that we're all fans, we're all passionate about music and curation. And if we come together and tap into different cultures and different parts of the world, we can do something special, and we can actually highlight artists and give them more of a stage than already exists in the Colors Studios ecosystem.
I think the music industry had a lot of turbulences because of like the way it's structured, you know, the payment system between producers, musicians, and in general creatives. And I think that you guys decided to move into Web3 is a really important statement and a choice for you guys to make, because I feel like there's just things like colors that just have a different kind of community vibe to it and just feel like very organic and really supportive of the community. In the future, how do you think like DAOs, NFTs, and these tools will impact the music and creative industry, or what kind of things do you hope for maybe?
One of the things that I'm really excited about are sort of what I was saying before, in the sense that artists can now bring their fans on chain, and they don't really have to rely on one platform to hopefully succeed so that they can retain their fans, essentially. You know, I work with artists that have millions of followers on different platforms, but we can't target those fans because these platforms aren't even that relevant anymore, you know, and it's not that easy just to engage with the fans. But what if all those fans had the relationship with the artist on the blockchain? That's such a stronger mission, and sort of if that can actually come true, that's huge. And so now we're experimenting with that. And I think a lot of people are speaking about this, but the 1,000 true fan model, but building that on chain where you have that value capture along with the artist, that's huge. I've never joined an artist fan club. It might be cool, but I don't know. I don't even know where to do that, right? But if there's an NFT that represents that artist, the fan club, that's more exciting to me, because I'm sort of gaining exposure to the whole ecosystem, and it's not that one-way relationship where it's just like, oh, here's $50 a month, right? It's an NFT. We're building it together, and I think the artist also starts to care about their fans even more as well, because there's something connecting you. There's not just the art, but something else, and I think that's really special.
Right. If you think about like platforms change so drastically, and people building like basically their business models on all of these platforms, and it's sad to see sometimes when artists like have like a disconnect with their fans, or they can't really, you know, the structure is just not perfect right now, I think, the way it's built. So I think Web3 is offering different kind of ways to look at it, and offering different kind of structures. And also, if you think about it, like so many royalties and things just get lost, or, you know, the whole system is kind of at a point where it needs to change, I think, for many creatives. And I think if you have it on chain, if you have a smart contract, it's clear that it's yours. It's your NFT. It's clear that who you belong to, kind of. From your perspectives, like, what are some of the challenges with running a DAO, and what are some type of advantages you see?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many challenges running a DAO. One being, I've never run a DAO before. And the good news is that it's all very much a team effort, right? No one's run a DAO before. This is all new. So I think a lot of the similar principles apply with like traditional companies and org structures. I think there needs to be a level of structure, and I think you need to progressively decentralize. I know that's sort of a buzzword, but that is really important, because if you just open everything up to the community, every little decision, you won't really be able to move all that quickly. And I think as the colors community, we have a lot of amazing ideas, but it's about creating a pipeline so that these ideas can be realized. And so we've sort of taken a step back to develop a framework that hopefully that we can iterate upon, but hopefully gives projects a home, and so that, you know, we can really start shipping some experiences, some products, more artists, all that kind of stuff. So there are a ton of challenges figuring out governance and what sort of things get pushed to Snapshot, what shouldn't, there's a lot, but it's fun because it's uncharted territory. So we're all figuring it out as we go along. And another thing that's really cool is you can collaborate with other DAOs, and other DAOs say, hey, why don't you try our governance model? Check out our documentation. It's all open source, right? And that's amazing. There's a really awesome collaborative energy that exists in Web3 that I didn't find as much in sort of the Web2 space.
I think that really nailed it for me. People are very helpful and really open to communicate and, also start things. I feel like there's the spirit of like, let's do a project or let's work together instead of doing it all on our own. And I think that fits perfectly with the DAO model. And I was thinking about that a lot because I saw that there's people now doing NFTs for real life events and all of these different things. And I'm wondering, do you ever thought about that? Like NFTs in like the real life music events or some sort of that kind of, what kind of is Colors doing in the future? Kind of, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be explored. Colors Studios has some IRL events, such as our Colors Paris event that happens in Paris, typically in the fall. And it would be great to incorporate some type of NFT gallery curated by the community in there. That's a work in progress. But what's cool about the Colors community is that we have this direct relationship with Colors Studios. So anytime that Colors Studios is hosting an event, as long as we curate something nice, we can tap into that. We don't have to like reinvent the wheel and go, how do we get a space? Who's going to help run this? There's a lot of pieces that are already there, and we just sort of need to fill in the gaps for things that would be helpful for us and the greater Colors network. I think another cool thing in terms of IRL events and NFTs, NFT ticketing, just being able to have, attendees purchase NFT tickets instead, and then we can airdrop them experiences, NFTs in the future. So I think that's another thing that I'm really excited about, and hopefully we can incorporate into our Colors events moving forward.
Yeah, I was just thinking that because sometimes you go to events and you have this amazing experience, but you don't really have anything like you used to have like a normal ticket, but now you get these digital tickets, and it's like it would be nice to have some sort of memory or artwork, and you can look back on all of your events you went to, or be part of the community, even be part of a Discord, or you can go to the next event. I feel like that is kind of like the future of would be nice to see in the music events. And what are some of the struggles with independent artists, like when you come now with a DAO idea? Like what do people expect, or what is some things that you were like you had to educate people on with the Web3 idea?
Yeah, there's a ton of education. As soon as you say DAO and say it's a decentralized autonomous organization, everyone's like, what in the hell? So a lot of my job is to speak to artists and try to, put it in words that make sense and really explain to them it's not much different than what's happening, in the legacy industry, I guess, or in Web 2. It's just that it's more exciting now because we're all working together and we have this store of value on the blockchain, and I explained to them what that means. But there's a ton of education, and we're just going to have to figure it out as time goes on. But I also think that artists get more educated about the space as time goes on as well, because they see their friends of theirs releasing NFTs or blah, blah, blah. So as the space grows, it's easier and easier to onboard because you don't have to explain as much, right? And then also when wallets and that whole flow gets easier, and what Coinbase is doing with having, basically a decentralized wallet or some type of DApp wallet inside of their centralized wallet sort of framework, that can also be helpful so artists don't have to hop through as many hoops, to claim an NFT or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we had the same, because creatives, they already have so much to deal with their projects and everything, and now they get to be onboarded in Web3. It's really like another layer of like, okay, like how do we make this simple? Because the UX and UI at the moment is still in some places it's good, in others it could be better. But in the long run, it's preparing the artists to, like you said, live for like a legacy, or think about the future and think about how they want to build up their kind of like mini ecosystem or economy. And I think that's really important, because we know from the history that that hasn't always been the case. And I hope to see more of that, you know, of artists collaborating, and really that Web3 opens up the possibilities for artists to build their own ecosystems. And yeah, last thing I want to ask you, like, what is something you're looking forward to in terms of like colors or Web3 in general? What is like the next thing or project that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, well, I'm excited for sort of our season 1 to kick off. We're building our NFT gallery / marketplace, and giving artists in the ecosystem and the colors community a home to release their NFTs. Also a place for the colors alumni to come in and give them a nice home to release their first, digital collectibles. So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about the community getting involved in the curation, and we have some activations happening there and some experimentation. So that's really cool. And just developing more of a pipeline with color studios and filling in the gaps there. In general, I'm really excited about music Web3 and building fan bases on chain. I think that's going to be really, really powerful. And I mean, if you have 1,000 people or 500 people that care when you release something, and they're in it with you, and they can all retweet it at the same time, that's so powerful. That's better than that's such an unlock for so many independent artists, and for artists that are multidisciplinary, and there may be a graphic designer, a photographer, videographer / musician. It's like, now there's a home for all of that, because you can just sort of be a part of that ecosystem, and you don't really have to like put yourself in a box. And additionally, artists don't have to burn out and go on tour ideally every day of their lives, because they can take a little bit of a break, because they have this on-chain community that'll be there whenever they're ready. So I'm excited about all those things, and yeah, that's why I'm in it.
Yeah, we are excited too. We can't wait to see. I think like platforms like Colors, they are really gonna write history and music. I mean, they already do. I just remember always watching, like, I always remember my favorite Colors videos and watching them over and over again. And it's so cool that you guys really you're finding the way to integrate these things, and you're basically preparing the future. So I'm looking forward to that, and I know our community is looking forward to that. And yeah, thank you so much, Jeremy, for joining us today. And we would also love to know where we can find you on your social platforms. And I know Colors has the Colors DAO website, so maybe if you want to quickly share your socials.
Sure, absolutely. So on Twitter, we're at ColorsXDAO, and Colors Studios is at ColorsX Studios. And on our Twitter, you can also find a link to our community website, where you can mint a founding pass, and then from there jump into our Discord and help us build this thing. So those are the steps. But yeah, thank you so much for having me, and I hope we get to talk again soon.
Yeah, definitely. We will link all of the links down below, and get into the Discord and check out Colors DAO. What they're building is amazing. And thank you guys for tuning in today, and we see you guys in the next episode. Thank you.